Hello and welcome to Parity Scholars at the American Farm School. My name is Christos Vasilikiotis and I'm a professor and the chair of the Sustainable Agriculture Department at Parity College. Today I will introduce you to my work here on sustainable agriculture and more specifically on regenerative and climate-smart agriculture, which is something you can study through our study abroad programs. We will explore why it's important for agriculture to not only produce healthy food, but also to become climate change resilient and reduce greenhouse gas emissions. What a better place to study all this than our educational fields here at Parity College. So now let's move into a more traditional classroom. We all know that human activities result in increased concentration of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. Those greenhouse gases are primarily carbon dioxide, nitrous oxides, and methane. These gases have the property of blocking infrared radiation from escaping the planet, a phenomenon we call the greenhouse effect. This destabilizes the Earth's climate. There's an urgent need to stop any further disruption of Earth's weather systems in order to prevent the increase in extreme weather events such as floods, heat waves, and droughts. To address this serious issue, all nations have agreed to pursue efforts to limit the increase of average global temperatures to 1.5 degrees centigrade above pre-industrial levels, in order to minimize and reduce the risks associated with climate change. This requires reduction of emissions from all sectors of our society. The European Union has set a very ambitious goal, as a goal of becoming carbon neutral by year 2050. This creates a new challenge for agriculture. Not only our farmers should try to increase productivity and their incomes, but also they should reduce their greenhouse gas emissions and become more adapted to climate change. The secret to achieving this lies in our soils, which play a critical role in greenhouse gas reductions. Soils have a process called carbon sequestration, which is a net removal of carbon from the atmosphere and subsequent storage into the soil. This allows agriculture to play a very critical role in climate change adaptation and mitigation. Photosynthesis is a term associated with carbon sequestration. As we all know, photosynthesis is a process by which plants take carbon from the atmosphere and through the roots input into the soil, while at the same time releasing oxygen. Climate-smart agriculture uses many different methods to reduce carbon in the atmosphere through carbon sequestration. Those methods and practices involve either maintaining current carbon stocks in our soils and forests, reducing the loss of carbon through soil disturbance, and inputting more carbon in the soil through carbon sequestration. My research at Parity Scholars is about sustainable agriculture technologies that relate to climate change mitigation and adaptation. We focus on two different strategies. One is cover crops and the other one is no-tillage. Cover crops are plants that we plant with the sole purpose of improving soil quality and increasing soil fertility. They are planted through the winter, and through the whole growing period they harvest solar energy and then pump carbon from the atmosphere into the soil into the form of organic matter. Cover crops can be established in different systems and is a way to maintaining cover throughout in all soils. Adding carbon into the soil creates a better environment for the bacteria in the soil while feeding them in order to create a more diverse soil that enhances the different ecosystem services they provide. Those services, for example, is mycorrhiza, that is a soil beneficial fungus that has the ability to increase the absorbance of nutrients into the plants, thus reducing the need for fertilizers. Another form of bacteria are those associated with legumes that fix atmospheric nitrogen into plants, thus reducing the need for fertilizers that have very high energetic cost. We also employing no-tillage methods in combination with cover crops. No-tillage is a practice that minimizes soil disturbance and has multiple benefits. One is that it preserves soil structure and quality and also minimizes the loss of carbon from the soil. When we use soil disturbance, such as plowing, what we do is we take the carbon that's been stored in deeper layers of soil as organic matter and we bring it to the surface, expose it to oxygen, and aerobic bacteria can decompose it, thus releasing carbon dioxide back into the atmosphere. No-tillage is a method that has a lot of potential in order to mitigate climate change. Here at Parity Scholars, we have established long-term trials that combine cover crops and no-tillage. In those trials, we add cover crops through the winter, and then in order to terminate them, instead of plowing them under, we cut them and leave the soil covered with crop residues. These crop residues play multiple roles. One is to protect the soil from loss of moisture. They also prevent weeds from growing. Finally, they slowly decompose, adding nutrients and feeding bacteria, which in turn provide nutrients to our crops. The combination of cover crops and no-tillage is a system that provides multiple benefits. First, and most important, it reduces the need for inputs, less fertilizers, less herbicides. Also increases soil quality and soil health, which is actually one of the most important aspects of sustainable agriculture. We all know that healthy soils produce healthy food that produces healthy people. In addition, farmers that use these technologies can benefit by being rewarded for storing carbon into the soil, while at the same time increasing the sustainability of their farming systems. I hope you find all this interesting, and we're hoping to see you in the future in one of the study abroad programs where we can explore more of those ideas and issues in our fields here at Parity Scholars.